Good morning. This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. It's Tuesday, November 26th, 2024. Here's what's coming up on America in the Morning.
All charges dismissed in the two federal cases against President-elect Donald Trump. I'm John Stolnis in Washington.
A sentencing comes down in the case surrounding a 60-year-old white woman who shot and killed her black neighbor. I'm Clayton Neville.
President-elect Donald Trump is threatening to impose sweeping new tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China as soon as he takes office. Norman Hall, Washington.
The attorney for Eric and Lyle Menendez says newly discovered evidence supports claims made at the brothers' 1989 trial. I'm Donna Warder.
On Wall Street, stocks are coming off a rally. The Dow opens this morning at a record high, and we'll tell you why. I'm Jessica Ettinger.
Egg prices are rising as demand grows during the holiday baking season. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
All ahead on America in the Morning. In the wake of Donald Trump's soon-to-be second term in the White House, Special Counsel overseeing the election interference and classified documents cases against the president-elect is dismissing all charges. John Stolnis has details from Washington.
In a legal filing, Special Counsel Jack Smith asked the judge to dismiss the charges against Trump due to a standing Justice Department policy that forbids sitting presidents from facing criminal charges. It's a stunning but expected reversal from June of 2023, when Smith first announced charges regarding Trump's handling of classified documents found at his home in Mar-a-Lago.
Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with felony violations of our national security laws, as well as participating in a conspiracy to obstruct justice.
On Truth Social, Trump wrote, quote, "These cases, like all of the other cases I have been forced to go through, are empty and lawless and should never be brought." He called it a political hijacking, saying he won and persevered against all odds. Trump allies pointed to his winning the election as proof the American people did not believe in the cases brought against him, a point Democratic Congressman Dan Goldman disputed on CNN.
But I certainly don't think anything that came from the election was a reflection of support for Donald Trump getting rid of these cases, largely because the American people, as you and I as well, we don't know what the actual evidence is.
But Republican former Congressman Adam Kinzinger, a Trump critic who served as one of the two Republicans on the House January 6th committee, believes the voters knew this was the likely outcome.
In the process of that campaign, it was made very clear that if he is elected again, these cases will be dropped, and America made the decision to reelect him. So I don't obviously agree with that, but I'm at peace with it. I respect it because that's a decision the country made.
Trump had pleaded not guilty to 4 charges in the election subversion case, among them conspiracy to defraud the U.S., and pleaded not guilty to 40 criminal counts related to his handling of classified documents after leaving office. There are still 2 cases outstanding against Trump. In Georgia, an election fraud case brought against him there has been delayed, as has the sentencing in his New York Stormy Daniels hush money conviction last spring. John Stolnis, Washington.
In Florida, the woman convicted of killing her neighbor over an argument faced a judge and has been sentenced for her crime. Correspondent Clayton Neville reports.
The family of A.J. Owens was asking that 60-year-old Susan Lawrence be sentenced to 30 years behind bars in her manslaughter conviction in the June killing of Owens last year.
This shooting, this killing, this death of a mother, a daughter, a friend should have never happened.
Owens' mother, Pamela Diaz, told reporters the family now has justice after a 25-year sentence was handed down.
We got justice today, and now we truly can forge ahead on the journey of true healing.
Lawrence shot Owens through her apartment door during an argument between the two neighbors. Owens, a mother of 4, had been knocking on Lawrence's door. In Monday's sentencing hearing, Lawrence addressed the court.
First and foremost, I'm so sorry that I took AJ's life. I never intended to kill her. I so wish I could go back and change things so that she was still here.
She spoke to Owens' friends and family.
I know that you have all suffered from her loss, and I have prayed for you and your family during this time so that you can, that God could help you. Nothing I can do will change the outcome, I can only tell you I have cried and I feel horrible for my actions.
The case put to test Florida's Stand Your Ground law, which lets people use deadly force in self-defense in certain situations. Lorentz told investigators she was in fear for her life when she shot Owens, but the jury said the killing was not justified. I'm Clayton Neville.
Today's top stories are brought to you by Sleep Number. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? It's the only bed that lets you make each side firmer or softer whenever you want. Save 40% on the Sleep Number Special Edition smart bed. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com. Trump touts tariffs when America in the Morning continues after these messages. This is America in the Morning, a brief period of freezing rain from the Northeast this morning. With the nation's forecast, here's AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy.
A storm centered in southern Ontario first thing this morning is spreading rain mixed with snow through northern New York into northern New England, with rain farther south along a cold front from Pennsylvania and southern New England, and then southward along the coast from Delaware to Maryland into the Carolinas, Georgia, and even northern Florida. Most of the southern areas will dry out this afternoon, but New England will remain wet throughout the day. And then chillier areas moving in behind the system with a few snow showers through the Great Lakes, with some lake effect also forming in parts of Michigan. And there could be several inches of snow from that later today and tonight. Heading out west, there remains a stream of moisture through central California, which is spreading inland. It'll produce a significant amount of snow through the Sierra Nevada, and the moisture will continue to move through the state of Nevada into Utah and Colorado today, with rain and snow in the valleys and mountains, respectively. The rain in central California can cause some disruption, but the Sierra Nevada snow will remain impressive by any standard, with totals measured in feet. Showers farther to the north through the rest of California into Oregon and Washington, with a few snow showers also forming over the northern Rockies in Idaho and Montana. Farther south through Arizona and New Mexico, it will be largely dry today, with clouds building into the area late, and then some rain and snow showers will be possible in northern areas tonight. And the areas in between will have a large area of high pressure, providing tranquil weather for most. That's the weather across America. It is going to be a chilly day in St. Louis, Missouri, despite sunshine with a high of 46. In Burlington, Vermont, it's going to be a cloudy, rainy day with a high also of 46. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy.
I'm John Trout. Remember to follow us wherever you get your podcasts: Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. Just search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. Donald Trump says he will impose new tariffs on goods from Canada, Mexico, and China through an executive order on the first day of his new term next year. Norman Hall reports the president-elect's tariff plan is meant to bolster border security.
As part of his efforts to crack down on illegal immigration and drugs, President-elect Donald Trump is threatening to impose sweeping new tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China as soon as he takes office.
But now we have a new president in Mexico. Supposed a very nice woman. They say I haven't met her, and I'm going to inform her on day one or sooner that if they don't stop this onslaught of criminals and drugs coming into our country, I'm going to immediately impose a 25% tariff on everything they send in.
In a pair of posts on his Truth Social site Monday evening, Trump wrote that on January 20th, he will sign executive orders to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming into the U.S. Trump also threatened to charge China an additional 10% tariff. It's unclear whether Trump will actually go through with the tariffs or if he's using them as a negotiating tactic before he takes office in the new year. Norman Hall, Washington.
A judge in Los Angeles delayed a resentencing hearing until late January to take another look at the convictions of Eric and Lyle Menendez, who are serving life in prison for the shotgun murders of their parents. Correspondent Donna Warder reports.
The attorney for Eric and Lyle Menendez says newly discovered evidence supports claims made at the brothers' 1989 trial that they had been sexually abused by their father, Jose Menendez, and the judge will decide whether the new evidence warrants a re-examination of the brothers' convictions. The prosecution said at trial that the brothers killed their parents for money. Last month, prosecutors recommended resentencing Eric, now 53, and Lyle, 56, to 50 years to life, saying the brothers have worked on redemption and rehabilitation and have demonstrated good behavior inside prison. The new sentence could make the Menendez brothers immediately eligible for parole because they were under 26 years old when they killed their parents. I'm Donna Warder.
In sports, from the NFL Monday Night Football, the Ravens defeat the Chargers 30-23. When we return on America in the Morning, investors bank on Trump's Treasury pick. We're back after these messages. Welcome back. You're with America in the Morning. The Business Report is brought to you by Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments takes a disciplined approach with investing, helping clients navigate volatile markets. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com. Here's CNBC's Jessica Ettinger.
Wall Street opens this morning after a rally to start the holiday-shortened week of trading.
What we do have is a market that has hit rarefied air again. So the record highs have happened in the Dow Jones Industrial Average and also the S&P 500. We were at a stone's throw away with the NASDAQ Composite, but the Russell 2000 small caps also get a record high.
CNBC's Dominic Chu. Investors are cheering President-elect Trump's pick for Treasury Secretary, billionaire Scott Bessent. And here's why.
Bessent appears to best represent the combination of traits that Trump was looking for in his Treasury Secretary. He's someone with a deep familiarity of financial markets and with ties to Wall Street, but he also has a deep commitment to Trump's economic agenda, including on tariffs. So for markets, they see someone who has experience in investment strategy and who also might temper some of Trump's more extreme policy impulses.
CNBC's Megan Casella. Coffee futures just hit their highest since 1997. There's a lot of worry about long-term coffee crop damage in Brazil because of climate change. Drought conditions hurting the crop. Brazil's the world's largest coffee producer. It's got its driest weather in more than 40 years. If you go to Starbucks, you may have to bring your patience. Baristas working for Starbucks can't view their schedules after a ransomware attack on a vendor. There may be times when certain cafes don't have enough staff. Formula One says yes to General Motors as a new team on the grid. It ends a years-long saga that saw the Justice Department launch an antitrust probe into the sport. Team GM will use Ferrari engines for the first 2 years. Then GM's Cadillac division has to build its own engine for competition. It's glorious this morning for the studios in California. Hollywood rolling in dough with Universal's Wicked defying gravity and Paramount's Gladiator 2 coming off a big weekend too.
Wicked's $114 million domestic take was the third highest opening weekend of the year, despite being limited by the film's 2-hour and 40-minute runtime. A second installment in this film hitting theaters next November. AMC reporting its highest revenue ever for this pre-Thanksgiving weekend, and ComScore says the combo of films brought IMAX $20.5 million in ticket sales, which is its third highest pre-Thanksgiving weekend ever.
CNBC's Julia Borston. Now, Disney's Moana 2 is in many theaters tonight and almost everywhere tomorrow, heading into the Thanksgiving weekend to bring in more moolah for Hollywood. On today's watch list, earnings are coming from a load of retailers like Best Buy, Dick's Sporting Goods, Burlington Stores, Abercrombie & Fitch, Nordstrom, Urban Outfitters. Plus, we'll hear from J.M. Smucker, CrowdStrike, Dell, and HP.
CNBC's Jessica Ettinger. Talking turkey over grocery prices when America in the Morning continues after these messages. You're with America in the Morning. A judge makes a ruling in the case of a college volleyball player that could have national implications for women's sports. Correspondent Mike Empen reports.
A judge has rejected a request to sideline a San Jose State player on the grounds she's transgender. The ruling by U.S. Magistrate Judge Cato Cruz allows the player, who has played all season, to compete in the Mountain West Women's Volleyball Conference tournament. The ruling comes in a lawsuit filed by 9 players against the Mountain West, challenging the league's policy for allowing transgender players to participate. The players argue that letting her compete is a safety risk and unfair. San Jose State says it will continue to support its student athletes and reject discrimination in all forms. The players filed a notice for emergency appeal with the 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. I'm Mike Hempen.
While some prices for Thanksgiving items have gone down, it seems we're all feeling sticker shock when we purchase eggs this holiday season. Lisa Dwyer explains.
While the prices are not as high as 2 years ago, current prices are up. Emily Metz with the American Egg Board says the egg industry sees its highest demand in November and December, but this year, the prices are being affected by more than just usual demand.
Unfortunately, this has been a very challenging year for egg farmers because of highly pathogenic avian influenza, or HPAI.
Anytime the virus is found, every bird on a farm is slaughtered to limit the spread of the disease. Metz says that so far, egg shortages at grocery stores have been isolated and temporary, and says not to panic.
Keep calm and crack on. You're going to have the eggs you need for Thanksgiving.
I'm Lisa Dwyer.
America in the Morning for Tuesday, November 26th, 2024 is produced by Jeff McKay. Senior producer Kevin Delaney. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One. This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. I'm John Trout. Coming up this half hour.
At Charlotte Airport, we are the union. Service workers went on strike Monday for higher wages and better working conditions. I'm Julie Walker.
President Biden has continued an annual tradition as Thanksgiving approaches. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
Growing speculation over a potential ceasefire deal. I'm Clayton Neville.
A call to kill Jews at a pro-Palestinian rally. I'm Bob Brown. That story just ahead.
Accounting issues for Macy's, diversity programs going away at Walmart, and keeping politics off the Thanksgiving dinner menu. Back after these messages. This is America in the Morning with today's national forecast. Here's AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy.
Looking at the west, there is a significant stream of moisture continuing to move through central California, which is spreading inland and producing a moderate to heavy rain along the coast and a significant snow through the southern Sierra Nevada. This moisture will continue to move through the state of Nevada into Utah and Colorado today, with rain in the valleys and snow in the mountains. The rain in central California can cause some problems, with the Sierra Nevada seeing feet of snow. Snow farther inland through the Wasatch and Colorado Rockies will also have several inches of snow to as much as a foot by Wednesday morning. Meanwhile, the same system is producing a few showers farther to the north through the rest of California into Oregon and Washington, with a few snow showers also forming over the northern Rockies into Idaho and Montana. Farther south in Arizona, it will be largely dry today, but then there'll be some chance for rain and snow showers tonight as that system starts to dip into the area. A storm centered in southern Ontario this morning will be spreading rain and snow through portions of northern New York into northern New England, with rain farther south along a cold front from Pennsylvania into southern New England, and then along the coast through Delaware, Maryland, into the Carolinas, Georgia, and even northern Florida. Most of the areas to the south will dry out this afternoon, but New England will remain wet throughout the day. And then chillier areas moving in behind the system, and it's going to cause a few snow showers through the Great Lakes, with some lake effect snow also forming in parts of Michigan. And there could be several inches of snow from that later today and tonight. And in between these two systems, there's an area of large, high pressure, which will provide tranquil weather for most. This will allow for sunshine through the Plain States through much of the southeast into the Ohio Valley. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. Just search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. I'm John Trout. As the Thanksgiving getaway gets underway, some airport service workers at one of American Airlines' largest hubs are walking a picket line over low wages. Correspondent Julie Walker reports this could impact travelers through Charlotte.
At Charlotte Airport, we are the union. Service workers who clean planes, remove trash, and push people in wheelchairs went on strike Monday for higher wages and better working conditions. SEIU Regional Director Chris Bauman says some make just $12.90 an hour.
They're standing up for fair living wages. We have workers here. One of the workers spoke about living in a storage shed. Others live in hotel rooms, in U-Hauls. And they're tired of being invisible and tired of living in poverty when these companies have billions of dollars in profit.
He says the union voted for a 24-hour strike during the holidays for a reason.
Folks are paying attention to travel. People are going to see their families. And so this is the time the workers said we will not be invisible this week, and you will see it. You will see us living in poverty. You need to know how important we are. Pay us living wages.
The workers are employees of ABM and Prospect Airport Services, which contract with American Airlines at Charlotte Douglas Airport. I'm Julie Walker.
From crowded airports to busy highways and lines for buses and trains, low gas prices are a key factor for expectations this will be the busiest Thanksgiving travel season ever. Correspondent Jennifer King reports.
Gee, the traffic is terrific.
The Thanksgiving holiday travel rush is expected to break records this year. AAA is predicting that nearly 80 million people will venture forth, most of them by car, exceeding pre-pandemic numbers.
Thanksgiving is the busiest travel holiday of all.
AAA spokeswoman Aixa Diaz.
Wednesday afternoon's pretty brutal, but now also Tuesday afternoon's pretty bad too.
Transportation analytics company INREX says coming home, the best time to avoid crowded highways will be Sunday before 1 p.m. and very early or late in the day on Monday. The TSA says they're prepared to screen about 18.3 million air passengers during the 7-day stretch, a record number, with Sunday being the busiest at airports. Winter weather, a national shortage of air traffic controllers, and a strike by airline service workers in Charlotte, North Carolina could affect flights. FAA Administrator Mike Whitaker.
We're closely watching the weather, which is, of course, the biggest source of delays, and we'll do our best to work around that.
I'm Jennifer King.
AAA is predicting that nearly 80 million Americans will travel by car for at least 50 miles from home through next Monday. The national average for a gallon of regular is now $3.05, the lowest average it has been this year. 31 states now have gasoline averaging $3 or less per gallon. Hawaii, at $4.57, has the highest gas prices in the nation, surpassing California. At the airports, the TSA predicts that 3 million people will pass through security checkpoints on Sunday, which could reach an all-time one-day air travel record. Amtrak says they'll be lengthening trains and adding staff through December 2nd. America in the Morning continues. At the White House, Washington correspondent Sagar Meghani reports President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden have carried out a pre-Thanksgiving tradition for a final time.
In just a few days, volunteers from all over the country will pour in to transform this tree and decorate the entire White House. And out of the whirlwind of glitter and garlands will come the warmth and comfort of the season. I can't wait for you all to share in it.
On a packed South lawn.
They tell me there's 2,500 people here today looking for a pardon.
The president did issue 2.
I hereby pardon Peach and Blossom. Let's bring Peach up to join us. They tell me Peach weighs about 42 pounds. What do you say, Peach? Peach is making a last-minute plea here.
Turkeys from Minnesota.
Born this past July at the Zimmerman family farm, raised by the... Yeah, I hear you. Peach wants to speak a little bit here.
He says the birds like listening to music, including Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer.
Well, fellas, your prayer's going to be answered today.
The event kicks off Washington's holiday season.
This event marks the official start of the holiday season here in Washington. It's also my last time to speak here as your president during this season and give thanks and gratitude. So let me say to you, it's been the honor of my life. I'm forever grateful.
Sagar Meghani, Washington.
As the call for a ceasefire deal in the Middle East is getting louder ahead of the winter months, world leaders are hopeful it can be reached. This comes as Israel continues to target Hezbollah in Lebanon, where the terror group is firing missiles targeting Israeli cities. As correspondent Clayton Neville reports, the Israeli ambassador to Washington says a ceasefire deal could happen within days if conditions are met.
A United Nations envoy for peace in the Middle East called for an Israeli ceasefire in Lebanon this week during a meeting of the UN Security Council in New York City.
We continue to demand immediate steps to improve the delivery of humanitarian assistance, which is failing to meet even the most basic needs of Gaza's population.
He said that the humanitarian situation near Beirut, Lebanon's capital, is deteriorating.
We continue to call for political and security frameworks that would move us closer to resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, ending the occupation, and achieving a two-state solution.
This is Robert Wood, the alternate U.S. representative to the UN, said that the U.S. continues to reject any Israeli calls for expansion of settlements in the West Bank. White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby.
This remains a top priority for the president, has for some time, and certainly is today as we speak, to get this ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah so that the rockets and the missiles stop.
He told reporters he believes the U.S. is close.
The conversations that Amos had were very positive. And we, as I said earlier, we believe the trajectory is going in the right direction here to potentially getting this ceasefire done.
But
nothing is negotiated until everything is negotiated.
Now, Israeli officials say that the country is moving forward with a possible deal with Hezbollah. I'm Clayton Neville.
Among the stories we're covering next, Walmart's about-face on diversity and revealing Bitcoin's founder. When America in the Morning continues after these messages. I'm John Trout. Welcome back. You're with America in the Morning. The owner of a kosher business in Montreal has been identified as the person calling for the extermination of Jews at an anti-Israel rally that soon after turned destructive. Bob Brown has the story.
Anti-Semitism on the rise north of the border in Montreal, Canada. Authorities say a woman was recently spotted on video at a pro-Palestinian rally, repeatedly shouting the phrase, "the final solution." But shockingly, it was learned the woman is a franchise owner of 2 kosher cafes inside the Jewish General Hospital in Montreal. 39-year-old Mali Mal Abdulhadi was caught on camera giving the Nazi salute towards pro-Israel counter-demonstrators at last week's protest at Concordia University, where she reportedly went to school.
The final solution is coming your way. The final solution. You know what the final solution is? Do you know what the final solution is?
Witnesses say she attempted to shield her identity with a scarf and sunglasses. The final solution was Adolf Hitler's plan for the mass murder of Jews during World War II. 6 million Jews died under Hitler's Nazi regime. Second Cup Canada, the owner of the cafes, says it has zero tolerance for hate speech. And in a statement, the company says it shut down the franchisee's cafe and are terminating their franchise agreement. I'm Bob Brown.
There's trouble for Macy's as the retailer says there will be a delay in their quarterly earnings report, and one employee is to blame. Lisa Dwyer reports.
Macy's reported stronger than expected sales for the third quarter, but says it's delaying the release of its full quarterly results after it discovered an employee intentionally hid up to $154 million of expenses over several years. The department store chain also operates Bloomingdale's and Bluemercury Cosmetics. An independent investigation and forensic analysis found that a single employee with responsibility for small package delivery expense accounting intentionally made erroneous accounting accrual entries to hide millions in expenses from the fourth quarter of 2021 through the fiscal quarter ending November 2nd. Macy's anticipates reporting its full third quarter financial results by December 11th. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Walmart says it will be ending some of its diversity programs. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the retail giant will also close down its Center for Racial Equality, a nonprofit it funded since 2020, and programs that provide assistance to suppliers that are 51% owned by women, minorities, veterans, or members of the LGBTQ community. Walmart will also stop allowing third-party sellers to offer some LGBTQ-themed items on its Walmart.com website. America in the Morning continues. The anonymous inventor of Bitcoin may have finally been revealed, but not by the recent HBO documentary. Here's Chuck Palm with that in today's Tech Report.
It looks like the HBO documentary, Money Electric, may have gotten it wrong. Satoshi Nakamoto, the famed yet mythical inventor of Bitcoin, has managed to stay anonymous all these years, which, by the way, is the main reason Bitcoin is so valuable. Not having one person or one company in charge or trying to manage the value of Bitcoin, and a limited supply of available Bitcoin, developed on an encrypted blockchain network, created the right monetary mixture that has caused such a fever in trading Bitcoin over the past few months. The HBO documentary claimed that Canadian cyberpunk Peter Todd was the man behind the myth that created the blockchain known as Bitcoin. A new theory about a trove of Bitcoin addresses created in 2010, known as the 2010 Mega Whale, each account holding 50 Bitcoins, was discovered by the Bitcoin investigator BTC Parser to have awakened and started selling off small amounts of Bitcoin to not draw suspicion. And so the plot thickens. For more, follow me on X at Chuck Palm.
The NFL and more in Tuesday Sports. Here's Robert Workman.
NFL Week 12 wrapped up last night as the Ravens bolted past the Chargers 30-23. Lamar Jackson ran for an early touchdown, then threw for two more. Justice Hill capped it off with a 51-yard scoring run. Week 13 starts with a Turkey Day triple-header. College football's new playoff poll comes out tonight. College basketball, number 2 Connecticut, the two-time defending NCAA champs, lost to Memphis 99-97 in overtime at the Maui Invitational. Also in Maui, number 4 Auburn tripped number 5 Iowa State 83-81. On a putback with 1 second left. NBA, the Celtics sank the Clippers 126-94 for their 6th straight win. Coach Joe Mazzulla.
At the end of the day, we're trying to be the best version of ourselves. We have an understanding of what that looks like when we're at our best.
Nets rallied from down 18 to whip the Warriors. That's Golden State's first home loss this season. Thunder rolled over the Kings. They take over the top spot in the West. Jaden Ivey's jumper at the buzzer lifted the Pistons over the Raptors. Knicks got 40 from OG Anunoby as they rocked the Nuggets. Magic swatted the Hornets despite 44 from LaMelo Ball. Pacers, Mavericks, and Grizzlies win. NHL, the Blues buried the Rangers 5-2 to give new coach Jim Montgomery the win in his debut behind the bench.
This is a talented roster. They've got a lot of guys with really good offensive hockey sense, and if we're committed to checking like we were, the offense is going to come.
Elsewhere, the Lightning blitzed the Avalanche 8-2. Brandon Hagel had 5 assists. A 5-goal third period broke open a tie game and gave the Sharks a 7-2 win over the Kings. Hurricanes got 5 in the final period to blow by the Stars. Capitals scored 3 in the third to punish the Panthers. Devils drilled the Predators. Nico Hischier with his first career hat trick. Wins for Vegas, Ottawa, Detroit, Winnipeg, and Seattle. That's Tuesday Sports.
Thank you, Robert. What families aren't talking about at the Thanksgiving table when America in the Morning continues after these messages. Thanks for listening. This is America in the Morning. The movie Rust has been shown publicly for the first time. Actor Alec Baldwin is speaking about its release. Kevin Carr reports.
The Western film Rust has finally had its premiere at the Energa Image Festival in Poland. On November 20th, the film received praise and applause, particularly during the credits, which included a dedication to Helena Hutchins, the cinematographer who was killed on set 3 years ago when a prop gun fired live rounds. Producer and star Alec Baldwin, who was holding the gun when it discharged, was not invited to the premiere. However, director Joel Souza, who was also injured in the incident, told NBC News that he hoped people will see the movie to honor Hutchins.
And so at the end of the day, yeah, it was just about people appreciating her final work, people maybe learning more about her than simply what happened to her, and people getting to see the world through her eyes.
Baldwin, who was formally charged in Hutchins' death, had those charges dismissed in July on the grounds the prosecution failed to turn over evidence. The production's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, is currently serving 18 months in prison for manslaughter. On Monday at the Torino Film Festival in Italy, Baldwin was honored with a Lifetime Award, where he made a rare public appearance. He had a sit-down interview with Variety and discussed Rust. Baldwin admitted he had not yet seen the final cut of the film and hopes to put the incident behind him, saying that it was, quote, the most difficult thing I've ever dealt with. He also said that he had waived his fee and is not profiting from the film in any way, but he hopes for its success. I'm Kevin Carr.
While all of the traditional items will likely be on full display at your holiday table, some families have genuine concerns if the menu includes a side of politics and political disagreements during the gathering. With more, here's correspondent Jackie Quinn.
It's time for families to gather together for Thanksgiving meals this week, less than a month after one of the most bitter political elections in recent memory.
For the most part, we all get along.
This Louisville, Kentucky turkey farmer, Melina Slaughter, says the one thing that won't be served at her family's Thanksgiving feast.
We don't ever bring politics up at Thanksgiving. It's about family. It's about, hanging out with our kids and teaching them how to be thankful.
While some family members may feel anger over the defeat of Kamala Harris and the election of Donald Trump,
that was the main topic with everyone.
Deirdre Lee says, let's wait and see.
Now that the results are over, until President-elect Trump is in office and we see what he's really going to do, there's not too much to talk about. We've heard all the things that he promises to do from day one, and we'll see how many of them he does.
It sounds like there may be more arguments over jelly or whole berry cranberry sauce and which football game to watch. I'm Jackie Quinn.
That's our show for today, Tuesday, November 26th, 2024. America in the Morning is produced by Jeff McKay. Our senior producer, Kevin Delaney. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One.